Billionaire CEO attended his fiancée's graduation, couldn't believe the chief guest was his ex with a girl. The morning light filters through floor-to-ceiling windows, casting long shadows across polished marble. Cameron Drake stands perfectly still, his reflection caught in the glass, a man who has learned to wear success like armor. His phone buzzes. He ignores it. Behind him, Vanessa Chen adjusts her graduation cap in the mirror, her voice bright with the particular energy of someone whose life is unfolding exactly as planned. "Babe, we're gonna be late." He doesn't turn around. His eyes are fixed on something she can't see, something that lives in the space between what is and what was. The coffee in his hand has gone cold. He hasn't taken a single sip. "Cameron." Her voice pulls him back. He turns, arranges his face into the smile he's perfected over 6 years of board meetings and charity galas, and pretending his heart isn't a graveyard of things he's buried but never mourned. "We have 40 minutes, he says. "You'll walk across that stage, collect your diploma, and I'll be the proudest fiancé in the room." She beams at him, and guilt moves through his chest like something living. Vanessa is good, kind. She comes from the right family, understands his world, never asks questions that cut too deep. His mother adores her. His business partners approve. She checks every box that matters. Except one. She isn't Isabel. The thought arrives the way it always does, uninvited, usually at 3 in the morning when Vanessa sleeps beside him and he stares at the ceiling, counting all the ways he destroyed the only thing that ever felt real. He shoves it down now, buries it under the weight of logic and time and the future he's already committed to. But it doesn't disappear. It never does. The drive to Harborview University is quiet. Seattle's skyline slides past the window, all glass and steel and ambition. A city built on the fiction that you can outrun your past if you just move fast enough. Cameron has been moving fast for 6 years. It hasn't worked yet. They park in the VIP section because his donation built half the law school. People recognize him. They always do. Cameras flash. Students stare. Vanessa loops her arm through his, her engagement ring catching the light, 3.5 carats, princess cut, flawless. He'd proposed 4 months ago at his mother's insistence, and Vanessa had said yes before he'd finished the question. Sometimes he wonders if she actually heard what he asked or just saw the ring. The auditorium smells like ambition and rented polyester. Families crowd the aisles, proud and loud, cameras ready to capture a moment that will live in frames on mantles for decades. Cameron follows Vanessa through the chaos, his security detail maintaining respectful distance. An administrator materializes beside them, clutching a tablet like a lifeline. "Mr. Drake, we're so honored you could attend. Your endowment to the law school has been transformational." "Just here to watch my fiancé graduate," he says smoothly. 6 years of billionaire status has taught him to deflect gratitude about money before it becomes performative. Vanessa squeezes his arm. "I need to line up with my class. The ceremony starts in 20 minutes. "Oh, did you see who the chief guest is? I'm dying." Cameron raises an eyebrow. "Should I be worried?" "Isabel Montgomery." Vanessa practically squeals. "The psychologist?" "She founded the Lighthouse Foundation for at-risk youth." "God, she's only 32, and she's already a legend. I've been obsessed with her work since undergrad." The world tilts. Cameron hears his own heartbeat in his ears, a dull, heavy thunder that drowns out everything else. The auditorium goes distant, muffled, like he's underwater and sinking fast. "What?" "Dr. Isabel Montgomery," Vanessa repeats, oblivious to the fact that her fiancé has stopped breathing. "I can't believe the university got her." She barely does public appearances anymore. Apparently she's very private. She glances at her phone. "I have to go. Love you." She disappears into the sea of blue gowns, and Cameron stands frozen in the aisle, his mind fragmenting into 1,000 pieces of a past he spent 6 years trying to forget. "Isabel, here, today," a voice cuts through the static in his head. "Cameron Drake, is that really you?" He turns to find Marcus Chen grinning at him, his CFO and best friend since college, looking distinctly out of place in a room full of graduate students. Marcus's niece is graduating, the only reason their paths have crossed today. "Marcus." Cameron's voice sounds strange to his own ears, like it belongs to someone else. "When did you get here?" 10 minutes ago. Saved you a seat." Marcus studies Cameron's face, his grin fading. "You look like you've seen a ghost. What's wrong?" Before Cameron can answer, the lights dim. A hush falls over the auditorium like a curtain dropping. The ceremony is beginning. Cameron moves on autopilot, finding his seat in the family section, his mind screaming static. Marcus slides in beside him, still watching him with concerned eyes. The dean approaches the podium, voice booming through speakers about excellence and achievement, and futures bright with promise. Cameron hears none of it. His entire focus has narrowed to the side entrance where faculty and special guests will enter. His hands grip the armrests. His chest feels too tight. Then she walks in. 6 years evaporate like they never happened. Isabel Montgomery moves with the same quiet confidence he remembers, shoulders back, head high, every step deliberate. She wears a deep burgundy dress that looks painted on, her dark skin luminous under the auditorium lights. Her hair is different, longer now, twisted into elegant locks that frame her face, but everything else is devastatingly familiar. The curve of her neck, the way she holds herself, the exact shade of her lips. "That's her," Marcus whispers. "That's the chief guest." Cameron can't speak, can't move, can't do anything but watch as Isabel takes her seat on stage, her expression composed and professional, giving no indication that her world has just imploded the way his has. Then her eyes sweep the audience and find him. Time stops. Cameron watches recognition hit her, sees the exact moment her careful composure cracks. Her eyes widen just slightly. Her hands grip the armrests of her chair. Color drains from her face, then floods back. Her chest rises with a sharp breath she can't quite control. She looks away first, jaw tight, gaze fixed, on some point above the audience's heads. Marcus grabs Cameron's arm. "That's her, isn't it? That's Isabel." "Yeah." Cameron's voice sounds like it's coming from underwater. "That's her." "Jesus Christ, Cameron. I didn't know she'd be here." "I didn't know," Cameron says. "I had no idea." The ceremony blurs past. Names are called, diplomas handed out, families cheer. Cameron registers none of it. His entire focus remains locked on the woman on stage, who refuses to look at him again, who sits with perfect posture and a smile that doesn't reach her eyes, who is somehow more beautiful than he remembered, and that fact makes everything worse. Then movement catches his attention. Backstage, partially hidden by the curtain, a small figure darts into view. A girl, maybe 5 years old, wearing a tiny yellow dress and white tights. She has a stuffed elephant clutched to her chest and a name tag pinned crookedly to her collar. She tugs on a woman's hand, someone who looks like Isabel's sister, though Cameron can't be sure from this distance. The child is chattering, animated, full of the boundless energy of a 5-year-old, with no interest in sitting still. The woman bends down, whispers something, and the girl nods reluctantly, staying put but fidgeting with her name tag. Cameron leans forward, squinting at the tag, trying to read it. The girl turns slightly, and the light hits just right. Lily Montgomery. His heart stops. The child has Isabel's eyes, that distinctive amber brown that looks like honey in sunlight. But the rest of her face, the shape of her nose, the particular angle of her jawline, the way she tilts her head when someone speaks to her, it's his grandmother's nose, his mother's chin, his own eyes looking back at him through Isabel's face. Cameron does the math he swore he'd never do again. Counts backward, from the child's age to 6 years ago, to the last time he'd seen Isabel, to the last time they'd been together before everything fell apart. 5 years old, 6 years since she left, 9 months of pregnancy. The numbers align with perfect, devastating clarity. "Cameron." Marcus's voice sounds far away. "Cameron, whose kid is that?" On stage, Isabel stands to deliver her keynote address. Her voice fills the auditorium, strong and clear, the voice that used to whisper his name in the dark, talking about resilience and second chances and building something from nothing. But Cameron isn't listening to her words. He's staring at the girl backstage, at Lily, at the child who has his face and his eyes and his smile, at his daughter. The daughter he never knew existed. Isabel's voice wavers just once, on the word love. Her eyes flick to Cameron for a fraction of a second, then to the girl backstage, then back to her notes. And in that moment, Cameron understands everything. She knows he's here, she knows he's seen Lily, and she's terrified. Applause erupts as Isabel finishes her speech. Students throw their caps in the air. Families rush toward the stage. Marcus is saying something, asking questions, but Cameron can't hear over the roaring in his ears. He stands slowly, his legs unsteady, his entire world rewritten in the span of a single afternoon. Somewhere in this auditorium, his fiancée is celebrating her graduation, posting photos to social media, planning a future that has just become impossible. And somewhere backstage, his daughter is waiting for a mother who kept the most devastating secret of Cameron's life. The question isn't what happened 6 years ago. The question is, what the hell happens now? 7 years earlier, Cameron Drake believed in exactly two things: building empires and the comforting fiction that emotions were liabilities best avoided. Then Isabel Montgomery walked into his conference room wearing a Navy suit that cost less than his watch, and every belief he'd ever held shattered in under 45 seconds. "Mr. Drake, thank you for this opportunity." Her voice hits him first, warm and confident, with an edge that suggests she doesn't need his approval but will take his funding if the terms are right. "I'm Dr. Isabel Montgomery from Seattle Youth Services. We're here to pitch our proposal for the Rainier District Community Center." Cameron extends his hand for the standard business handshake, firm grip, eye contact, protocol he's executed 10,000 times. The moment her palm touches his, electricity shoots up his arm. He watches her eyes widen just a fraction, knows she felt it too, that impossible spark that scientists claim is just neurons firing, that poets insist is fate, that Cameron has always dismissed as biochemical nonsense. Until now. "Miss Montgomery," his voice comes out rougher than intended. "Please, sit." She sits across from him, flanked by two colleagues who look nervous. Isabel looks ready to conquer worlds. Cameron's business partner, Greg Hutchins, shifts uncomfortably beside him. The other presenters, established architecture firms in expensive suits, look annoyed that this small nonprofit somehow secured a pitch meeting for Drake Industries, largest community investment project. They have no idea she's about to eat them alive. Isabel opens her portfolio, spreading renderings across the mahogany table. The Rainier District has been systematically neglected for 30 years. Your typical developer would drop in a wellness center, maybe a library, call it community investment, and watch it fail within 5 years because it doesn't actually serve the community's needs. One of the senior architects clears his throat. "Ms. Montgomery, perhaps we should focus on the budget projections." "I am focused on budget projections," Isabel says smoothly, not even glancing at him, "because failure is expensive. You spend millions on infrastructure nobody uses, deal with community pushback, watch vandalism rates skyrocket because people don't protect what they don't value." She looks directly at Cameron. "I'm proposing something smarter." Cameron leans forward. He sat through 73 pitches for this project, all variations of the same sterile community center with the same predictable ROI models. "I'm listening." Multi-generational programming. Isabel's eyes spark with barely contained passion. Childcare for working parents. After-school programs that actually run until parents get off work. Mental health services with counselors who look like the community they serve. Job training that leads to actual employment, not just certifications nobody recognizes. She slides a rendering toward him. "You're not just building a community center, Mr. Drake. You're building trust. And trust generates returns that don't show up on your quarterly reports but transform neighborhoods over decades." The senior architect scoffs. "That's idealistic, but the cost overruns." "Will be offset by a 15-year partnership with Seattle Public Schools," Isabel interrupts, producing a letter of intent. "They'll subsidize programming in exchange for guaranteed after-school capacity, plus federal grants for mental health services, state funding for job training, and here's the part you'll care about: positive press that increases property values across your entire Seattle portfolio." Silence fills the conference room. Greg whistles low. "Is that letter real?" "Signed yesterday," Isabel says. "You were probably too busy designing glass monuments to notice the superintendent's been looking for community partners for 3 years." Cameron bites back a smile. The senior architects look like they've swallowed broken glass, and Isabel sits there, calm as still water, systematically dismantling their egos without raising her voice. He's in serious trouble. "The proposal is compelling," Cameron says, keeping his tone neutral. I'll need time to review the financials, but I'm interested. Greg, can you walk the other teams out? Ms. Montgomery, if you could stay. I have additional questions about the mental health programming. The architects gather their materials, shooting dark looks at Isabel. She ignores them entirely, her attention fixed on Cameron with an intensity that makes his pulse spike. The door clicks shut. They're alone. So Isabel says, a smile playing at her lips, were those questions about mental health real, or did you just want to get rid of those walking TED Talks? Cameron laughs, genuinely laughs for the first time in months. Both. Though I'm starting to think the mental health programming is the least interesting thing we could discuss. Careful, Mr. Drake. I'm here to secure funding, not entertain you. What if I want both? Isabel tilts her head, studying him. Then you're going to have to work significantly harder than this. I don't date potential funders. Good thing I haven't approved your proposal yet. Cameron pulls a business card from his jacket, writes something on the back. Have dinner with me tonight. Isabel stands, gathering her portfolio. For a moment, Cameron thinks she's leaving. Then she pulls a card from her bag and writes something on it. Cascade, 8 o'clock. She meets his eyes. And Mr. Drake, don't be late. I have exceptionally high standards. Greg returns 5 minutes later, finding Cameron still staring at the business card. Please tell me you're not doing what I think you're doing. It's dinner, Greg. It's the beginning of something catastrophic, and we both know it. Greg leans against the door. Your mother's gonna lose her mind. She's already got a list of suitable women lined up. Isabel Montgomery has a doctorate in clinical psychology from Stanford, Cameron says quietly. She just revolutionized our approach to community investment. I don't particularly care which fork she uses at formal dinners. Greg whistles. Yeah, you're completely gone. That night, Cameron arrives at Cascade early. Isabel's already there, wearing a dress the color of midnight that makes her skin glow like burnished gold in candlelight. You're early, she says as he sits down. So are you. Cameron, he corrects when she calls him Mr. Drake, and I'm actually terrified. That gets her attention. Of what? That I've already decided this is the most important dinner of my life, and you're just here because you want funding for your community center. Isabel laughs, a real laugh, uninhibited and bright. The arrogance, the vulnerability, and the self-awareness, all in 30 seconds. You're dangerous, Cameron Drake. They talk through 4 courses, about psychology and real estate and the Seattle skyline. About growing up, Isabel in a neighborhood where she learned dreams required fighting, Cameron in a mansion where he learned money couldn't buy warmth. At midnight, the restaurant staff starts hovering, ready to close. I don't want this to end, Cameron says. Then don't let it. They walk through Olympic Sculpture Park, and Cameron realizes this is what people mean when they describe connection. Not just attraction, but recognition. Like finding someone who speaks a language he's been waiting his whole life to hear. I need to tell you something, Isabel says, stopping on the bridge overlooking Elliott Bay. I don't do casual. I don't date for entertainment or to pass time. If this is just... It's not, Cameron interrupts. Isabel, I've spent my entire life building things. Companies, buildings, portfolios. But I've never built anything that mattered until right now, standing here with you, trying to figure out how to convince you that I'm serious. She looks at him for a long moment. Then she kisses him. The world stops. Every cliché Cameron has ever dismissed as fiction suddenly makes perfect sense. Fireworks, lightning, the feeling that the ground beneath his feet has fundamentally shifted and will never be the same. When they finally pull apart, Isabella's smiling. Okay, we can do this. Do what? Fall in love, she says simply, because I think we already started. She's right. Within 2 weeks, they're inseparable. Within a month, Cameron's friends stop inviting him anywhere without her. Within 3 months, his mother meets Isabel and actually smiles, a genuine smile, not the polite grimace she usually reserves for women Cameron dates. Marcus pulls him aside at a charity gala, watching Cameron watch Isabel across the room. Everyone here is talking about you two. Let them talk. They're saying they've never seen you like this, happy, human, like you finally figured out what you've been missing. Cameron doesn't take his eyes off Isabel. She's talking to a group of donors about trauma-informed care. animated and passionate, making them believe in something bigger than themselves. That's because I was missing her. I just didn't know it yet. The Rainier District Community Center breaks ground 6 months after that first pitch meeting. Cameron and Isabel stand side by side at the ribbon cutting, and someone from the Seattle Times takes a photo that ends up on the front page of the business section. They look at each other in that photo the way people look at miracles, awed and grateful, and slightly terrified by the magnitude of what they've found. Cameron's assistant frames the photo, puts it on his desk. He looks at it every single day and thinks the same thing. This is what people search their whole lives for, and most never find it. He'd found it in a conference room on a random Tuesday, and he isn't letting go. But fate has other plans. "You two are nauseating," Greg announces one afternoon, walking into Cameron's office to find Isabel perched on his desk reviewing psychological assessments for the community center's therapy programs. Seriously, it's like watching a romance novel with a construction budget. Isabel grins. "Jealousy is unbecoming, Greg. I've been married 12 years. Rebecca and I don't look at each other the way you two do after 8 months." "That's because you take each other for granted," Cameron says, not looking up from his laptop. Isabel laughs, hopping off the desk. "I'm a terrible influence." But it isn't just physical attraction. It's the way they push each other. The way Isabel calls Cameron out when he gets too focused on profit margins. The way Cameron encourages Isabel to dream bigger, demand more funding, take up space in rooms designed to diminish her. Cameron's mother hosts a dinner party 4 months into their relationship. Cameron has warned Isabel these events are performative, his mother's way of maintaining social standing. "She's going to test you," Cameron says in the car. "Ask questions designed to make you uncomfortable." "Baby, I've been tested my whole life," Isabel says calmly. "I'm a black woman in clinical psychology who works with underserved communities. Your mother is amateur hour." She's right. Patricia Drake greets them with a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. "Cameron, darling, and this must be the famous Dr. Montgomery." "Mrs. Drake, thank you for having me." Isabel's handshake is firm. "Your home is stunning. The chandelier in the foyer, is that Murano glass? Late 19th century?" Patricia blinks. "Yes, actually. How did you know?" "My dissertation focused on the intersection of environmental psychology and socioeconomic status. Historic homes like this one reveal fascinating patterns about wealth preservation across generations." And just like that, Patricia's icy facade cracks. By dessert, Cameron's mother is showing Isabel family photos. Marcus leans over and whispers to Cameron, "Your mom likes her." "I've never seen Patricia Drake like anyone who wasn't on the Forbes list." "Isabel has that effect," Cameron murmurs. "She makes people want to be better versions of themselves." Patricia pulls Cameron aside in the foyer after dinner. "I like her. His mother's voice is quiet. She's intelligent, accomplished, and she doesn't need you. Which means when she chooses you, it actually means something." Patricia's eyes soften. "I've never seen you happy, Cameron. Not really. But with her, you're different, lighter." It's the kindest thing his mother has said to him in years. The Rainier District Community Center rises from the ground over the following months, becoming their shared masterpiece. Isabel practically lives on site, and Cameron shows up most afternoons ostensibly to check on the investment, but really just to watch her work. "You know people are talking," Isabel says one evening, finding him watching her consult with the architecture team. "Let them talk. They say you're distracted, that you're spending too much time here." Isabel walks over, concrete dust on her jeans, hair in a messy bun. "Cameron Drake, are you neglecting your empire for me?" "I'm investing in my future," he corrects, pulling her close despite the hard hat and safety vest. "This building, this project, you. This is the only thing that matters." Marcus's wife throws them a dinner party on their 1-year anniversary. Their friends fill the Chen home, watching Cameron and Isabel's relationship like a masterclass in how love should look. "Speech," someone calls out. Cameron stands, pulling Isabel up with him. "A year ago, I thought I had everything figured out." He looks at Isabel. "Then this woman walked into my conference room and destroyed my entire life plan in the best possible way." People laugh, but Cameron keeps going. "Isabel makes me want to be better. She's brilliant and fearless, and she sees the world not as it is, but as it could be. And somehow," his voice catches, "she sees that in me too." Marcus raises his glass. to Cameron and Isabel, making the rest of us look bad for a solid year. Later, Marcus pulls Cameron onto the back deck. I need to tell you something. You're scaring me. I've been married 12 years. I love Rebecca with everything I have, but watching you and Isabel, Marcus stops. I'm jealous. Because what you two have, that intensity, that partnership, most people never find that. Ever. Cameron looks through the window at Isabel, laughing with Rebecca, her head thrown back in genuine joy. Don't take it for granted, Marcus continues. If you lose this, you'll spend the rest of your life trying to find it again. I'm not losing her, Cameron says firmly. Whatever it takes, I'm not losing her. It's a promise he means with every fiber of his being. He has no idea how impossible that promise will be to keep. 3 months later, the Rainier District Community Center holds its grand opening. The mayor speaks, the press covers it. But Cameron only has eyes for Isabel, radiant in a crimson dress, giving interviews about psychological safety and community-driven design. She is going to be famous, Greg murmurs. This project's going to launch her into the national spotlight. Good, she deserves it. That night, they stand on the community center's rooftop terrace, their building, their vision made real. The city sprawls beneath them, glittering and vast. I have something to tell you, Isabel says. Cameron's heart leaps. I got an offer, she continues, from the Kaufman Institute in Boston. They want me to direct their new trauma research division. It's incredible, Cameron, the kind of platform I've been working toward my entire career. The world tilts slightly. Boston, Cameron repeats carefully. I know it's far, and we're here, and we've built this life, she stops. But I can't stop thinking about it. Cameron is quiet for a long moment. Then he says, take it. What? Take the job, Isabel. This is your dream. I'm not going to be the man who holds you back. But we'd be in different cities. Then I'll move. The words come easily because they're true. My company can operate from anywhere. We've been talking about East Coast expansion for years. This is the perfect opportunity. Isabel stares at him. You'd move to Boston for me. I'd move anywhere for you. Cameron pulls her close. Isabel, you're my partner, my future, the person I want to build the rest of my life with. So yeah, if your dreams are in Boston, then my dreams are in Boston. She kisses him with urgency that steals his breath. I love you, she whispers. I've loved you since that first dinner, but I was too scared to say it. I love you too, Cameron says, and I'm going to prove it every single day for the rest of our lives. They have 3 more months of bliss. 3 more months of planning their move to Boston, of dreaming about the future, of believing nothing can touch them. 3 more months before Cameron's father dies. And with him, every single promise Cameron made shatters into pieces so small he'll spend the next 6 years trying to put them back together. Cameron's phone rings at 3:47 in the morning with the kind of call that rewrites lives. His father is dead, stroke. Gone before the ambulance arrived. No warning, no goodbye, just gone. Isabel holds him while he shatters, her arms the only thing keeping him from flying apart completely. I'm here, she whispers into his hair as he sobs. Baby, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. The funeral is 4 days later. Cameron moves through it like a ghost, greeting relatives he barely knows, accepting condolences from business associates who respected his father more than Cameron ever had, standing beside his mother who wears black in grief like armor. Harrison Drake had been distant, exacting, impossible to please, but he'd been Cameron's father. And now he's gone. Isabel stays close, a steady presence in chaos. She fields phone calls, organizes logistics, runs interference when relatives ask invasive questions. Marcus shows up with coffee and silence, understanding Cameron needs presence more than platitudes. Then comes the reading of the will. Cameron sits in his father's attorney's office, mahogany paneling, leather chairs, the smell of old money and older secrets. His mother sits rigid beside him. Isabel had offered to wait outside, but Cameron needs her there, needs her hand in his. The attorney, Walter Brennan, clears his throat. Before we begin, I need to inform you there are complications. Mr. Drake's estate is more complex than anticipated. Meaning? Cameron asks. Walter slides a folder across the desk. Your father had another family. The words don't make sense at first. Cameron stares at the folder like it's written in a language he's never learned. Excuse me? Harrison Drake maintained a relationship with a woman named Jennifer Hartfield for over 20 years. Walter's voice is careful, measured. They had a daughter together. She's 24 now. Her name is Sophia Hartfield. The office goes silent. Cameron opens the folder. Inside are photos. His father with a woman who isn't his mother, smiling in ways Cameron has never seen, and a young woman who looks disturbingly like Cameron himself, feminine but unmistakable. There's more, Walter continues. Drake Industries has significant undisclosed debts. Your father borrowed heavily to maintain both households and fund several failed investments. The company is currently insolvent. Patricia stands abruptly, her chair scraping against hardwood. That's impossible. Harrison built that company from nothing. And he ran it into the ground trying to maintain his double life, Walter says gently. I'm sorry, Mrs. Drake, but the estate is bankrupt. The house, the cars, the assets, it's all going to have to be sold to cover debts. Cameron can't breathe. His father, the man he'd spent his life trying to impress, trying to measure up to, had been living a lie. Had another daughter. Had destroyed the family business through deception and desperation. How much? Cameron hears himself ask. 12 million, approximately. The number lands like a physical blow. I can cover it, Cameron says. His own company is worth significantly more. He can liquidate assets, take out loans, restructure. There's one more thing, Walter interrupts. Sophia Hartfield is contesting the will. She's claiming rightful inheritance as Harrison's daughter. Her attorney is arguing she's entitled to half the estate, which, given the debts, means she's entitled to half the burden. But she's refusing that. She wants assets without responsibility. Of course she does, Patricia says bitterly. Cameron looks at the photo again. Sophia Hartfield, his half-sister, a person he's never known existed, now trying to profit from the wreckage of their father's lies. That night, Cameron sits in his penthouse, staring at the Seattle skyline. Isabel brings him whiskey he doesn't drink. Talk to me, she says quietly. My entire life was built on a lie. His voice sounds hollow. Everything I thought I knew about my father, my family, it was fiction. You're not your father, Cameron. Aren't I? He turns to her. I built my company using his methods, his connections. What if I'm just as much of a fraud as he was? Stop. Isabel kneels in front of him, forcing him to look at her. You are nothing like him. You're honest, loyal, decent. You don't keep secrets or live double lives. You're a good man, Cameron Drake. He wants to believe her. The next 3 months are hell. Cameron works 20-hour days trying to save his father's company, honor the debts, manage the legal battle with Sophia Hartfield. He stops sleeping properly, stops eating regularly, becomes someone Isabel doesn't recognize. Cold, distant, consumed by obligation. You're scaring me, Isabel says one night, finding him still at the office at 1 a.m. This isn't healthy. I don't have a choice. Yes, you do. You could let the company go, file bankruptcy, start over, and abandon everyone who worked for my father? The employees who did nothing wrong? Cameron's voice is sharp. I can't do that, Isabel. But you can abandon me? The words hang in the air between them. I'm not abandoning you, Cameron says, but even he hears how weak it sounds. You canceled our Boston apartment viewing, twice. You haven't touched me in 3 weeks. You barely look at me anymore. Isabel's voice cracks. I'm losing you, and I don't know how to stop it. I just need time. Time? Isabel stands. Cameron, we were supposed to move to Boston next month. I turned down the Kaufman job because you kept pushing back the timeline. And now I don't even recognize you. Guilt and rage war in Cameron's chest. He knows she's right, knows he's destroying the best thing in his life, but he doesn't know how to stop the spiral. Maybe you should take the Boston job after all, he says quietly. Isabel flinches like he struck her. What? This is going to take months to resolve, maybe years. I can't ask you to put your life on hold while I clean up my father's mess. You're not asking, I'm choosing to stay. But you shouldn't have to choose. Isabel stands, tears streaming down her face. Don't do this. Don't push me away because you're hurting. Let me help you, Cameron. Let me be here for you the way you've been there for me. I can't. The words tear out of him. Isabel, I can't drag you into this disaster. You deserve better. I deserve you, she shouts. The real you, not this shell who's forgotten what we have. They stare at each other across the office, the distance between them suddenly insurmountable. Cameron's mother chooses that moment to arrive, her face drawn with grief and stress. She stops in the doorway, taking in the scene. "Isabel, dear, Patricia's voice is strained. Could you give us a moment?" Isabel looks at Cameron, waiting for him to tell his mother to leave instead. But he doesn't. He just nods. She leaves without another word. Patricia closes the door. "You need to focus, Cameron. This legal battle with Sophia, the company restructuring, it's taking everything you have. You can't afford distractions right now." Isabel isn't a distraction. No, she's a complication. His mother's voice is gentle but firm. "Darling, I know you care for her, but she's talking about Boston, about her career. She has her own life, her own dreams. And right now, you need to rebuild our family's legacy. You need someone who understands this world, who can help you navigate it." Someone like who? Vanessa Chen's family has offered to invest in Drake Industries. Her father is willing to inject capital in exchange for a partnership, but he's traditional. He'd need to see a future there, a connection between our families. Cameron stares at his mother. "You want me to use Vanessa to save the company? I want you to consider all your options." Patricia's eyes are desperate. "Your father destroyed this family, Cameron. But you can rebuild it. You can make something good from these ashes. But you need to focus. You need to put aside personal feelings and think strategically. Isabel is not a personal feeling. She's my future." "Is she?" "Because she's leaving for Boston eventually, and you'll be here picking up pieces. Can your relationship survive that distance, that divergence?" The seed of doubt plants itself deep. Over the next week, that seed grows. Cameron watches Isabel pull away, protecting herself from his emotional unavailability. He sees the hurt in her eyes every time he cancels plans, every time he stays late at the office. He feels the chasm widening, and his mother's words echo. Can your relationship survive this? Then comes the night that changes everything. Cameron works late again, reviewing documents for the Sophia Hartfield lawsuit. His mother has left him alone in the office, giving him space to think. Around 1 in the morning, he takes a break, opening his laptop to check emails. A notification pops up from the Seattle Business Chronicle, another article about the Rainier District Community Center. Isabel's project is winning awards, getting national attention. Cameron clicks through to read it, pride swelling in his chest despite everything. And then he sees the photo. Isabel at some industry event in Boston, radiant in an emerald dress. But she isn't alone. Standing beside her, his hand on the small of her back in a gesture Cameron recognizes because he's done it 1,000 times himself, is Dr. Marcus Chen, no relation to Cameron's Marcus, just a colleague Isabel mentioned casually, someone from the Kaufman Institute. The caption reads, "Dr. Isabel Montgomery and research partner Dr. Marcus Chen celebrate the Kaufman Institute's latest trauma center funding." Research partner, his hand on her back, her smile, genuine, happy, free of the strain she wears around Cameron lately. Cameron stares at the photo until it blurs. Isabel has gone to Boston, taken the job. She'd called him once to say she'd arrived safely. He'd been in a deposition and hadn't called back. And now here she is, with another man's hand on her back, smiling like she hadn't just left the love of her life behind in Seattle. The rational part of Cameron's brain knows this is innocent. Dr. Chen is our colleague. The hand placement means nothing. Research partners stand together at events. But the part of him that's drowning in grief and exhaustion and the wreckage of his father's lies sees something else. Proof that Isabel is already moving on, that she's realized Cameron is too broken to fix, that she's found someone easier, someone whole. He closes the laptop, doesn't call her, tells himself she's made her choice. What Cameron doesn't know, can't know, is that at that exact moment, Isabel is in her tiny Boston apartment, staring at a positive pregnancy test, trying to figure out how to tell him. What he doesn't know is that she'll call his office the next day, and his mother will answer, will tell her Cameron is in meetings all week, will promise to pass along the message. What he doesn't know is that Patricia Drake, drowning in her own grief and desperate to save her family's legacy, will intercept that one critical message. Will tell Isabel that Cameron has asked for space. Will suggest that maybe it's better to let him focus on rebuilding without the complication of a long-distance relationship. And Isabel, hurt and pregnant and staring at that photo of Cameron with Vanessa Chen that's just been published in the society pages, a photo from some Drake Industries event where Vanessa stands beside him looking like she belongs, will make a choice too. She'll stop calling. Will convince herself that if Cameron wanted to reach her, he would. Will tell herself that raising a child alone is better than forcing a man to choose between her and his obligations. Both of them make choices that week. Both of them give up too soon. And both of them will spend the next 6 years believing the other has moved on, when the truth is they've both been waiting for a phone call that never comes. Isabel Montgomery has always been strong. She survived being one of 3 black students in her doctoral program, survived condescending professors and research opportunities that mysteriously went to less qualified colleagues, survived building a career in a field designed to exclude her. But sitting in her Boston apartment, staring at 2 pink lines on a pregnancy test, Isabel doesn't feel strong. She feels terrified. 2 months in Boston, 2 months working brutal hours at the Kauffman Institute, trying to drown herself in research so she won't think about Cameron, trying to convince herself she made the right choice. And now this. Her phone sits on the bathroom counter. She had tried calling Cameron's office yesterday, left a voicemail saying she needed to talk. Patricia had called back. Not Cameron, his mother. He's buried in depositions and meetings, dear. He specifically asked for space to focus. Perhaps it's better to give him time. The message was clear. Cameron doesn't want to hear from her. Then Isabel had seen the photo in the Seattle Society pages. Cameron with Vanessa Chen at some gala, looking every inch the power couple. The caption mentioned the rumored partnership between the Drake and Chen families. 2 months of silence. 2 months of watching him choose his family's legacy over what they'd built. Maybe Patricia's right. Maybe it's time to let go. Isabel calls her sister instead. I'm pregnant, she says when Adrienne answers, and Cameron doesn't know, and I don't know what to do. Adrienne arrives the next day with suitcases and fierce determination. Tell me everything. Isabel tells her about the pregnancy, about Patricia's message, about the photo of Cameron with Vanessa. That manipulative witch Adrienne seethes. Belle, you have to try again. Call him directly. I can't. Isabel's voice is hollow. He's moved on. What am I supposed to do? Show up pregnant and ruin everything he's trying to salvage? He has a right to know about his child. And I have a right to protect myself and this baby from rejection. Isabel touches her stomach. I saw that photo, Adrienne. He looked comfortable. Like he'd already replaced me. What Isabel doesn't know is that photo was taken at an event Cameron's mother forced him to attend. That Cameron spent the entire evening thinking about her. That he left early and sat in his car for an hour, staring at his phone, wanting to call but convinced she was happier without him. Pride and pain keep them both silent. I'm staying, Adrienne says firmly. You're not doing this alone. The pregnancy is hard. Isabel works through morning sickness, through exhaustion, through the particular loneliness of carrying a child whose father doesn't know they exist. She sends one email, 3 months pregnant, desperate and scared. Cameron, I need to talk to you. It's important. Please call me. Patricia intercepts it, deletes it, tells herself she's protecting her son from complications, from a woman who's already moved to Boston and is probably involved with Dr. Marcus Chen anyway. Isabel never knows the email was intercepted. After that, she stops trying. Lily Rose Montgomery is born on a freezing February night. When the doctor places her daughter on her chest, tiny and perfect and screaming with healthy lungs, Isabel looks into eyes that are unmistakably Cameron's and breaks down sobbing. She looks just like him, she whispers. Raising Lily alone is the hardest thing Isabel has ever done. She juggles midnight feedings and morning meetings, client presentations, and toddler tantrums. Dr. Marcus Chen becomes a lifeline, showing up with coffee and babysitting offers, becoming the closest thing Lily has to a father figure. The business press occasionally runs photos of them together at industry events. Isabel never sees these photos, never knows that in Seattle Cameron sees every single one, and convinces himself she's moved on. Lily is happy, curious, chatty, full of boundless energy. But even at 3 years old, she starts asking the question that breaks Isabel's heart. Where's my daddy? Your daddy is a good man, Isabel says. He just doesn't know about you, baby. Why doesn't he know? How do you explain pride and silence and Two people who loved each other but gave up too soon. Isabel has convinced herself that Cameron knows about Lily through some gossip network and has chosen not to be involved, that his silence is deliberate. It's easier to believe than the alternative, that one intercepted email stole everything. Lily's 5th birthday comes and goes. That night, after Lily falls asleep clutching her stuffed elephant, Isabel sits on her apartment balcony and stares at the Boston skyline. Her phone buzzes with an email from the Kauffman Institute. They want her to give the keynote address at Harborview University in Seattle. Isabel's first instinct is to decline, but then she thinks about Lily, about how maybe it's time to face the past. "This is a bad idea," Adrienne says. "What if you see him?" "Then I see him." Isabel's voice is steady. "It's been 6 years. He's probably married to Vanessa by now." She's lying to herself, but sometimes lies are the only way forward. Isabel accepts the invitation and tries to convince herself she's ready. She isn't. Nothing could have prepared her for walking onto that stage and seeing Cameron Drake in the audience, looking at her like his entire world has just ended and begun again. Nothing could have prepared her for knowing her daughter is backstage, about to walk into a revelation that will change everything. The past 6 years collapse into nothing, and Isabel knows with absolute certainty that everything is about to explode. The ceremony ends in chaos. Families rushing toward graduates, cameras flashing, the particular energy of celebration thick enough to taste. Isabel stands frozen on stage, her keynote speech notes clutched in trembling hands, watching Cameron Drake navigate the crowd. He moves like a man in a dream, his eyes locked on her, with an intensity that makes her forget how to breathe. Vanessa Chen appears beside him, oblivious, pulling him toward the stage. "Babe, come on, I want a photo with Dr. Montgomery." Vanessa's voice carries over the noise, bright and enthusiastic. She's literally my hero. Isabel's heart hammers against her ribs. She needs to get Lily out of here. Needs to grab her daughter and disappear before it's too late. Cameron is climbing the stage steps, Vanessa chattering beside him about trauma-informed policy and research methodologies, and Isabel has nowhere to run. "Dr. Montgomery." Vanessa extends her hand, practically vibrating with excitement. "I'm Vanessa Chen. Well, soon to be Vanessa Drake. I just have to tell you, your work is incredible. The Lighthouse Foundation changed how I think about juvenile justice reform." Isabel shakes her hand mechanically, her entire focus on Cameron. He stands 2 feet away, silent, his face drained of color. "Thank you," Isabel manages. "I appreciate that. Can we get a photo? Cam, take our picture." Vanessa thrusts her phone at Cameron, moving to stand beside Isabel. Cameron takes the phone with wooden movements. Through the camera lens, he looks at Isabel, really looks at her, and she sees 6 years of grief and confusion and questions he can't ask crash across his face. The camera clicks. Perfect. Vanessa retrieves her phone, already posting to social media. "Cameron, don't you think she's amazing?" "Isabel has always been amazing," Cameron says quietly. The weight in those words nearly breaks her. Before Isabel can respond, small feet pound across the stage. "Mommy, Mommy!" Lily stops abruptly, noticing the strangers around her mother. She clutches her stuffed elephant tighter. Isabel's world narrows to this single moment, her daughter, standing in the spotlight, Cameron seeing her for the first time. The truth, unavoidable and devastating, written in every line of Lily's face. Cameron stares at the child, at the dark brown eyes with amber flecks, at the nose that belongs to Cameron's grandmother, at the jawline that will someday mirror his own. "Who's this?" Vanessa bends down to Lily's level, smiling. "Hi there, what's your name?" "Lily Montgomery." The girl sticks out her hand solemnly, the way Adrienne taught her. "I'm 5 years old." "Well, 5 and 2 months and 17 days. But Mommy says that's too many numbers to remember." Vanessa laughs, shaking her hand. "It's very nice to meet you, Lily." But Cameron isn't laughing. Cameron has gone absolutely still, his brain making calculations he can't stop. 5 years old, 6 years since Isabel left, 9 months for pregnancy. The math is brutal and perfect. "Cameron?" Vanessa looks up at him, confused by his expression. "You okay?" "I need a minute." His voice sounds like it's coming from underwater. "Excuse me." He walks off the stage blindly. Isabel watches him go, her heart breaking all over again. Is he all right? Vanessa asks, concern creasing her face. Graduation ceremonies can be overwhelming, Isabel says, years of practice keeping her voice steady. So many people. Yeah, he's been weird all day. Vanessa stands, still looking in the direction Cameron disappeared. I should probably check on him. But seriously, Dr. Montgomery, thank you for your incredible speech. You're an inspiration. She leaves. Isabel immediately scoops Lily into her arms. We need to go, baby. But Aunt Adrienne said there would be cake. We'll get cake later. Right now, we need to leave. Isabel carries her daughter down the stage steps, searching for Adrienne in the crowd. She finds her sister near the exit, talking to someone Isabel doesn't recognize. Adrienne, we need to go. Now? Adrienne turns, takes one look at Isabel's face, and understands. What happened? He saw Lily. He knows. Oh, Belle. Isabel. The voice comes from behind them, and Isabel's entire body goes rigid. She turns slowly to find Marcus Chen standing there, shock written across his face. Cameron's best friend, the man who'd been at every dinner party, every celebration, every moment of their relationship. Marcus looks at Lily, then at Isabel, then back at Lily. Jesus Christ, he breathes. Isabel, that's Cameron's daughter. It isn't a question. Marcus, that's his daughter. Marcus's voice is rising. Does he know? Isabel, does Cameron know he has a daughter? People are starting to notice, to turn and stare. Adrian steps closer, protective. This isn't the place. Does he know? Marcus demands. Not until today, Isabel says, her voice barely above a whisper. Why didn't you tell him? Marcus's face is pale. Isabel, for God's sake. I tried. The words burst out of her, sharp and desperate. I called his office. I sent an email. His mother said he needed space, that he was with Vanessa. What was I supposed to do, Marcus? Force my way into his new life? Marcus's face goes pale. Patricia, what did Patricia tell you exactly? That Cameron was focused on rebuilding. That he'd asked for space. That Isabel stops, seeing something shift in Marcus's expression. What? Cameron never asked for space. Marcus runs his hands through his hair. Isabel, did you send him anything in writing? An email? A letter? One email, 3 months after I moved to Boston. He never responded. And you're sure you sent it? Yes. Doubt creeps in. I sent it to his work email, the one I'd always used. Marcus pulls out his phone, typing rapidly. What was the date? Isabel tells him, her heart starting to race. And the subject line? Need to talk. I kept it vague because I didn't want to tell him about the pregnancy in an email. Marcus's face darkens as he scrolls through something. There's no record of it in his inbox. I have system access through our partnership integration. Isabel, that email never reached him. The world tilts. But I sent it. I know I sent it. I believe you. But someone deleted it before Cameron saw it. Marcus looks at her, realization dawning. Patricia has administrative access to Cameron's email. She's had it since Harrison died. Insisted on helping manage his communications during the crisis. Isabel feels sick. She deleted my email. I don't know for certain, but he stops, his eyes widening as he looks past Isabel's shoulder. She turns to find Cameron standing 10 feet away, having heard every word. And beside him, confusion morphing into horror, stands Vanessa Chen. The auditorium seems to go quiet, though hundreds of people still talk and laugh around them. Isabel feels like she's underwater, everything muffled and distant, except for the pounding of her own heart. Lily, sensing the tension, buries her face in Isabel's neck. Vanessa speaks first, her voice shaking. Someone want to tell me what's going on? Cameron can't take his eyes off Lily, off the child who has his face, his eyes, his entire genetic blueprint written in miniature. Is she mine? Cameron's voice cracks. Isabel, is that girl mine? The question hangs in the air, impossible to avoid. Isabel shifts Lily in her arms, feeling her daughter's small heart beating against her chest. She'd imagined this moment 1,000 times over the past 5 years, rehearsed what she'd say, how she'd explain. But none of her rehearsed speeches prepared her for the devastation in Cameron's eyes. "Yes," she whispers. "Her name is Lily. She's 5 years old, and she's your daughter." Vanessa makes it sound like she's been punched. Cameron takes a step forward, then stops, his hands shaking. "How long have you known?" "Since I was 2 months pregnant." "And you never told me." The words come out raw, broken. 6 years, Isabel. 6 years, and you never." "I tried." Isabel's voice rises, drawing more attention. People are definitely staring now, phones coming out. "I called you. I sent an email. Your mother told me you needed space, that you were with Vanessa. What was I supposed to do?" "You were supposed to tell me I had a daughter. You made your choice." Isabel's tears stream freely now. "I saw the photos, Cameron. You with Vanessa at every event, looking like the perfect couple. And I saw you," Cameron's voice breaks, "with Dr. Chen, smiling like you'd already moved on, standing there in Boston, looking happy while I was drowning here. Marcus is my colleague, and Vanessa was a family friend. My mother kept pushing at me." Cameron runs his hands through his hair. "We were both seeing ghosts, Isabel, both convinced the other had moved on, when we were just existing without each other." "You stopped calling," Isabel says. 2 months of silence, and then nothing. "Because I thought you didn't want to hear from me, because I was a mess, and you deserved better. And every time I tried to dial your number, I convinced myself you were happier without me dragging you down." "I was never happier without you," Isabel whispers. Vanessa's voice cuts through their moment. "I'm standing right here, your fiancé. Remember me?" Cameron turns to her, guilt written across his face. "Vanessa." "Don't." She pulls the engagement ring off her finger. "I've known for months that you didn't love me, Cameron. I just didn't want to admit it. But watching you look at her, at your daughter, God, I was so stupid to think I could make you forget her." "You're not stupid. This is my fault." "No, it's mine for accepting a proposal from a man who was clearly still in love with someone else." Vanessa presses the ring into his palm. "I hope you two figure this out. For that little girl's sake, if nothing else." She walks away, and several people in the crowd pull out phones to record the drama. Marcus steps forward. "We need to move this somewhere private." But Lily chooses that moment to peek out from her mother's shoulder. "Are you my daddy?" she asks, her small voice cutting through everything. Cameron's face crumples. He moves forward slowly, like approaching something precious and fragile, stopping a few feet from Isabel and Lily. "I didn't know about you," Cameron says, his voice breaking. "But yeah, sweetheart, I'm your daddy." Lily studies him with serious eyes, Cameron's eyes. "Why didn't you come before?" "Because I didn't know you existed, and that's the biggest mistake of my life." "Do you want to know me now?" The question breaks Cameron. He nods, unable to speak past the lump in his throat. Lily reaches out her arms. "You can hold me if you want. Mommy says I'm getting too big for carrying, but I don't think so." Cameron looks at Isabel, asking permission. She nods, tears streaming down her face. And Cameron takes his daughter, holds her for the first time, and the world falls away. Lily is warm and real and perfect. She wraps her small arms around his neck and whispers, "You're crying." Happy tears this time, Cameron manages. Security approaches, asking them to move the reunion somewhere private. Marcus leads them to a faculty office away from phones and stairs. The door closes, and suddenly they're just 4 people, Cameron, Isabel, Lily, and Marcus, trying to make sense of 6 years of misunderstandings. "I sent an email," Isabel says, 3 months after I left, telling you I needed to talk." "I never got it," Cameron says, still holding Lily. "Marcus, check my deleted folder. Check everything." Marcus pulls out his laptop. 5 minutes later, he finds it in a folder marked Archive by Administrator. The date matches. The timestamp shows it was moved to archive within an hour of arrival. "Patricia," Cameron says flatly, "my mother intercepted it." "She told me you needed space," Isabel says, "that you were focused on rebuilding with Vanessa." "I wasn't with Vanessa until 8 months ago." "And even then," Cameron stops. "Isabel, I never stopped loving you. Every woman I saw, I compared to you. Every relationship failed because they weren't you." Then why didn't you call? Because I convinced myself you'd moved on. Because I was drowning in my father's mess, and I thought I'd just drag you down with me. Because I was a coward, he looks at their daughter. And it cost me 5 years with her. Lily wriggles out of Cameron's arms, going to her mother. Mommy, can Daddy come home with us? The innocence of the question shatters them both. It's not that simple, baby, Isabel says. Why not? You said if Daddy knew about me, he'd want me. He knows now. So he can come home. 5-year-old logic. Perfect and undeniable. Cameron and Isabel look at each other across the office. 6 years of silence and misunderstandings. Two people who'd loved each other enough to let go, but not enough to fight. We need to figure this out, Cameron says. For Lily, she deserves both her parents. I know, Isabel says, but I live in Boston. You're in Seattle. This isn't. Then I'll move. Cameron's voice is firm. Isabel, I lost you once because I chose obligation over love. I'm not making that mistake again. I'm not losing any more time with my daughter. Cameron, you can't just. Watch me. His eyes are fierce. Isabel, I spent 6 years grieving what we had. I'm not spending another day without my daughter. Without you, if you'll have me. But even if you won't, I'm moving to Boston. I'm being Lily's father. That's non-negotiable. Isabel stares at him, seeing the determination in his jaw, the fierce love already written in the way he looks at their daughter. Okay, she whispers. Okay. Marcus clears his throat. Let's take this one step at a time. Right now, Lily knows her father. That's what matters. The rest, we'll figure out the rest. They leave the office together, walking into an uncertain future. Cameras still flash. People still stare. And somewhere in Seattle, Patricia Drake's phone is ringing with calls from society pages and gossip columns, all asking the same question. Who is Isabel Montgomery, and why does her daughter look exactly like Cameron Drake? Cameron doesn't go home that night. He sits in his rental car in the Harborview University parking lot, the engine off, his hands gripping the steering wheel like it's the only thing keeping him tethered to reality. His daughter, he has a daughter, a 5-year-old child who exists in the world, who has his eyes and his grandmother's nose, who likes stuffed elephants and trusts too easily, and probably 1,000 other things Cameron knows nothing about. 5 years of birthdays he missed, first words he never heard. Midnight feedings and scraped knees and bedtime stories. All of it lived by Isabel alone while Cameron was an hour away, completely oblivious. Except he hadn't been oblivious, not completely. His mother had known, had intercepted Isabel's email, had actively kept them apart. His phone buzzes. Marcus, where are you? Still at the university. It's been 3 hours, man. Come to my place. Rebecca made dinner. We need to talk. Cameron wants to refuse. Wants to drive to Isabel's hotel and demand answers, demand time with Lily, demand everything he's been robbed of. But Marcus's voice carries the weight of 15 years of friendship, and Cameron is too shattered to argue. He drives to Marcus's house on autopilot. Rebecca Chen answers the door, her face gentle with sympathy. She pulls Cameron into a hug without speaking, and he stands stiffly in her embrace, unable to process kindness when his entire world has just imploded. Marcus is in the study, she says softly. I'll bring coffee. The study smells like leather and old books. Marcus sits in his usual chair, a tumbler of whiskey already poured for Cameron on the side table. Drink, Marcus orders. Cameron drinks. You want to tell me what's going through your head right now? Cameron laughs, a hollow, broken sound. I have a daughter, Marcus. A 5-year-old daughter I knew nothing about. What the hell is supposed to be going through my head? Rage at your mother, probably. Confusion about Isabel. Grief over everything you missed. All of that. Cameron sets down his glass before he throws it. And guilt. So much guilt I can't breathe around it. Why guilt? You didn't know. But I should have tried harder. When Isabel stopped calling, I should have flown to Boston. Should have shown up at her apartment. Should have fought for her instead of convincing myself she was better off without me. Stop. Marcus leans forward. You were drowning in grief and debt and legal battles. You made the best decisions you could with the information you had, which included believing your mother when she said Isabel needed space. How stupid was I, Marcus? How blind? You were trusting your mother during the worst period of your life. That's not stupid, that's human. Cameron stands, pacing. I missed everything. Her first steps, her first words. Teaching her to ride a bike. Does she even know how to ride a bike? I don't know, Marcus. I don't know anything about my own daughter. Rebecca appears in the doorway with coffee, setting the tray down silently. She catches Cameron's eye and mouths, "It's gonna be okay." Cameron wishes he could believe her. "What are you gonna do?" Marcus asks. "I don't know. Isabel has a life in Boston, a career. Lily has friends, kindergarten. I can't just demand they uproot everything." "Can you uproot your life?" "For my daughter?" In a heartbeat. Cameron sits back down, exhausted. But it's more complicated than that. There's my mother, the company, Sophia's lawsuit. I can't just disappear to Boston and leave everything unresolved. Then resolve it. It's not that simple. Make it simple, Marcus says firmly. Cameron, your father's been dead for 6 years. You've spent that entire time cleaning up his messes, honoring his debts, trying to rebuild a legacy that was built on lies. When does it end? When do you get to live your own life? The words hit like a physical blow. Sophia's lawsuit could take years to settle, Cameron says quietly. And if you leave now, the company will survive. You've got competent people. Hell, promote Greg to CEO. He's been running most of the day-to-day anyway. Marcus pauses. The question isn't whether you can leave. It's whether you're brave enough to choose your daughter over your father's legacy. That's not fair. Life isn't fair. But you've got a second chance with the woman you love and a daughter who needs her father. Don't waste it because you're afraid of disappointing a dead man who disappointed you your entire life. Cameron stares at his best friend, the truth landing heavy in his chest. I need to talk to my mother, Cameron says. That's a terrible idea. I need to hear her explain why she destroyed my life. Marcus recognizes the tone. Nothing will stop Cameron when he sounds like that. Cold, determined, ready to burn bridges. Then I'm coming with you, Marcus says, because you're about to do something you can't take back, and you need a witness. They arrive at Patricia Drake's Buckhead mansion after midnight. The house is dark except for one window, the library, where Patricia always goes when she can't sleep. Cameron lets himself in with his key, Marcus following. Patricia sits in Harrison Drake's old leather chair, a glass of wine in her hand, looking older than Cameron has ever seen her. A laptop sits open on the table beside her, the screen showing the Seattle Times homepage with a photo of Cameron holding Lily. The headline reads, Drake heirs secret daughter, 6 years of silence. I was wondering when you'd come, she says quietly. You knew. Cameron's voice is flat. About Isabel's pregnancy. You intercepted her email. Patricia closes the laptop carefully. Yes. The admission hits harder than Cameron expected. Some part of him had hoped Marcus was wrong, that there was an explanation. Why? Because you were drowning, Patricia says. Your father had just died. The company was collapsing. Sophia was threatening lawsuits. And Isabel was in Boston, starting a new life, probably with that Dr. Chen everyone kept photographing her with. I couldn't watch you destroy yourself trying to maintain a relationship that was already over. It wasn't over. She was pregnant with my child. She'd left, Cameron. She'd chosen Boston over you. What was I supposed to think? You were supposed to tell me the truth. Cameron's voice cracks. You were supposed to let me make my own decisions about my own life. I was trying to protect you. From what? From being a father? From the woman I loved? He steps closer, trembling with rage. Mother, I have a 5-year-old daughter I've never met. 5 years of her life that I missed because you decided you knew better than I did what I needed. Patricia stands, her composure finally breaking. I made a mistake. I know that now. But Cameron, you were falling apart. The company, the debts, Sophia. You were barely holding yourself together. I thought, if you focused on rebuilding, if you let Isabel go, you'd eventually find peace. I found nothing. 5 years of nothing because you took my choice away. I was grieving too. Patricia's voice rises. Your father had another family, another daughter. Our entire life together was a lie. And I was just trying to save something. To make sure you didn't end up like him, torn between 2 families. So you made sure I had no family at all. The words hang in the air, devastating in their truth. Marcus clears his throat. Mrs. Drake, did you intercept more than one email? No, just the one. Patricia's voice is small. After that, Isabel never tried to contact him again. I thought she'd moved on, that my intervention had worked. Your intervention destroyed both their lives, Marcus says quietly, and robbed Lily of her father. Patricia sinks back into her chair. I'm sorry. God, Cameron, I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't give me back the time I lost. Cameron looks at his mother, really looks at her, and sees a stranger. A woman so consumed by her own pain that she inflicted it on everyone around her. I don't know if I can forgive you for this. I understand. No, you don't. Cameron's voice is cold. You took my daughter from me. You manipulated Isabel. You controlled my life because you couldn't control your own. And now I have to figure out how to be a father to a child who doesn't know me. How to rebuild trust with a woman who thinks I abandoned her, all while dealing with the fact that my own mother sabotaged my happiness. What can I do? Patricia whispers. How can I make this right? You can't. Cameron heads for the door, but you can start by staying away from Isabel and Lily until I decide whether I ever want you in their lives. Cameron, please. You want to earn forgiveness? Prove you've changed, fine. But you do it on my terms. You apologize to Isabel, really apologize. Take full responsibility for what you did. You accept that Lily is my daughter and that I'm going to be in her life no matter what. And you stop trying to control me. He walks out, Marcus following. In the car, Marcus says quietly, that was brutal. It needed to be. Cameron's hands shake on the steering wheel. She destroyed 6 years, Marcus. 6 years I can never get back. I know. But eventually, you'll have to decide whether holding on to that anger is worth losing your mother entirely. Maybe it is. They drive in silence. Then Marcus asks, what about Isabel? Cameron's jaw tightens. I don't know. She built a life without me. She has a career, friends, a whole world in Boston. Why would she want me back now? Because you're Lily's father. Because despite everything, I saw the way she looked at you today. Like seeing you hurt and healed her at the same time. Or maybe it's too late. Maybe we're just two people who loved each other once and screwed it up beyond repair. Only one way to find out, Marcus says. Fight for her. Show her you're serious about being in Lily's life, in her life. What if she says no? Then at least you'll know you tried. Cameron drives through Seattle's empty streets, his mind racing. Tomorrow he'll call his lawyer, start paperwork for custody arrangements, begin the process of restructuring his life around a daughter he just discovered. But tonight, he lets himself grieve for the time he lost, for the family he missed building, for the woman he loved and lost and might never get back. And somewhere in a hotel room across town, Isabel is doing the same. Isabel doesn't sleep that night. She sits on her hotel balcony, watching Seattle's skyline, trying to process the fact that Cameron knows. After 6 years of carrying this secret, it's out. And the look on his face when he held Lily, like his entire world had shifted, that look is seared into her memory. You should try to rest, Adrienne says, appearing with tea. Lily's finally asleep. Isabel takes the tea but doesn't drink it. Lily spent 5 years without a father because I gave up. Stop. Adrienne sits beside her. You did what you thought was right. Patricia manipulated both of you. This is not your fault. But I should have known. Should have questioned why Cameron would completely ghost me. Isabel's phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. It's Cameron. I need to see Lily tomorrow. Need to talk to you, please. Her hands tremble as she reads it. He wants to see Lily tomorrow, Isabel says. Are you going to let him? He's Lily's father. I can't keep them apart, she looks at her sister. But I'm terrified. What if this is just shock? What if he realizes fatherhood is too complicated? You saw Cameron's face today. That man is destroyed. I don't think he's going anywhere. Isabel types back. Piedmont Park tomorrow at 10. Lily likes the playground there. The response comes immediately. Thank you. I'll be there. The next morning, Isabel tries to explain something inexplicable to a 5-year-old. Remember the man from yesterday? Lily nods, chewing on her waffle. The crying man? Yes. His name is Cameron, and he's your daddy, Lily. The waffle stops halfway to her mouth. My daddy? The one you said loved me but didn't know about me? Yes, baby. Why didn't he know? Because some grown-up things got very complicated. But he knows now, and he wants to spend time with you. Is that okay? Lily thinks about it with serious concentration. Does he like stuffed elephants? I don't know. You can ask him. Okay. And if he doesn't like elephants, can we still keep him? Isabel's heart cracks. Yeah, baby. We can still keep him. Cameron arrives 15 minutes early, clutching a bag from the toy store and looking like he barely slept. The resemblance between father and daughter is impossible to miss in daylight. Lily notices Cameron first. Mommy, the crying man is here. Cameron winces. Isabel bites back a smile. Hi, Cameron says, approaching carefully. Lily, right? Yup. Do you like elephants? The question throws him. Yeah. I used to have a stuffed elephant when I was your age, actually. What was its name? Mr. Trunks. Lily giggles. That's a silly name. Mine is Princess Elephant because she's royalty but also an elephant. That makes perfect sense, Cameron says seriously. He crouches to Lily's level, pulling something from his bag. I brought you something. I hope that's okay. Lily takes the stuffed elephant with reverence. It's beautiful, detailed, clearly expensive. This is the best one I've ever seen. Can I play with you? Cameron glances at Isabel, who nods. I'd love to play with you, Cameron says. Okay, but I'm the mommy elephant. And you have to be the baby elephant, because you're new. For the next hour, Isabel watches Cameron Drake, Billionaire CEO, play elephants with their daughter in a sandbox. Lily chatters nonstop, showing Cameron all her favorite parts of the playground. Cameron listens to every word like it's the most important information he's ever received. He's good with her, Adrian murmurs, appearing with coffee. Yeah, he is. How are you feeling? Terrified, hopeful, angry, confused. Isabel takes the coffee. 6 years, I raised Lily alone because we were both too proud to fight for each other. You still love him. It isn't a question, but Isabel answers anyway. I never stopped. Lily comes running over, Cameron trailing behind. Mommy, Daddy says he has a big house with a yard for playing. Isabel's heart stutters at Daddy said so naturally. I'm sorry, Cameron says quickly. I should have asked first. It's okay. Isabel looks at her daughter. Maybe another day, baby. We need to go back to Boston tomorrow. I don't want to go back. I want to stay with Daddy. The words hang in the air, innocent and devastating. We should talk, Cameron says quietly. After Lily's asleep tonight, figure out what this looks like. Isabel nods. Dr. Chen is at the hotel. He can watch Lily. Cameron's expression flickers. Dr. Marcus Chen, your colleague? My best friend, Isabel corrects. That's all he's ever been. That evening, Isabel meets Cameron at a quiet restaurant. I saw the photos, Cameron says without preamble, of you and Dr. Chen. Those were work events. Marcus is my business partner, nothing more. And I saw you with Vanessa at every charity gala. Those were obligations. My mother kept pushing her at me, and I went along because I didn't care anymore. Because no one was you. They sit in silence. We both made assumptions, Isabel says quietly, both convinced the other had moved on. I should have fought harder. Should have shown up in New York. Boston. Boston, Cameron corrects himself. I should have tried more than just believing my mother. And I should have tried more than one email. Where do we go from here? Cameron asks. Lily needs stability. I can't just uproot her. And I can't ask you to. But Ashton leans back. But I also can't miss any more of her life. I need to be her father. And weekend visits aren't enough. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting I move to Boston. Be there for Lily every day. Isabel's breath catches. That's insane. Your entire life is in Seattle. My daughter is in Boston. That's the only thing that matters. And what about us? The question escapes before she can stop it. I still love you, Cameron says simply. But I also know I can't just pick up where we left off. We're different people now. We have a daughter to think about. So what does that mean? It means we take this slow. We focus on Lily, on building trust. And maybe, somewhere in that process, we figure out if we can be more than co-parents again. Isabel wants to say yes immediately. But she spent 6 years building walls. I need time, she says. Time to see if you're serious. Time to make sure Lily's protected if things don't work out. I understand. Take all the time you need. Cameron pauses. And Isabel, if you're going to be in Lily's life, you're all in. No halfway commitments. That little girl spent 5 years asking about her father. I won't let her get attached, just to lose you. I'm not going anywhere, Cameron says. I promise. Whatever happens between us, I'm Lily's father. Nothing changes that. They leave with more questions than answers, but also with something they haven't had in 6 years. A chance. 6 months later, Cameron Drake stands in his Boston apartment at 6 in the morning, staring at documents that have rewritten his life. Custody agreement. Joint, 50-50. Seattle office, restructured, Greg running operations. Letter to Patricia Drake. Boundaries established, supervised visitation only. Trust fund for Lily Rose Montgomery, established and protected. On his phone, a text from Isabel sent at midnight. Lily asked if you're really staying or if this is like when she asked for a puppy, and I said we'll see, which means no, I need to know what to tell her. Cameron types back immediately. I'm really staying. I signed a 3-year lease. Tell her daddy keeps his promises. The response comes quickly. Okay, she'll be happy. Pancakes at 9? Not I'll be happy. Just acknowledgement. Cameron picks up the drawing Lily made, 2 stick figures holding hands under a crooked sun labeled Daddy and Me in uneven letters. He hung it on his refrigerator, looks at it every morning, lets it remind him why he's here. The phone rings. Marcus. You're really doing this, living in Boston. Co-parenting with your ex. She's not my ex, she's Lily's mother, Cameron pauses, and maybe, someday, she'll be more than that again. You're still in love with her. Doesn't matter. She needs time. Needs to see I'm serious about being Lily's father before we can think about. He stops. Maybe we'll never get back what we had. Maybe we're just going to be co-parents. And you're okay with that? I have to be. Lily's the priority now. 3 hours later, Cameron knocks on Isabel's apartment door. She answers in bare feet and an old Kaufman Institute t-shirt, looking exhausted and beautiful. You're early, she says. Couldn't sleep. Wanted to see Lily before her play date. He finds his daughter at the kitchen table, building an elaborate tower with blocks. Daddy. Lily's face lights up. Look what I made. It's a castle for Princess Elephant. Cameron sits beside her, examining the structure with appropriate seriousness. This is architecturally sound. Good foundation work. Lily beams. Isabel watches from the doorway, something unreadable in her expression. After Lily leaves with Adrienne for the playdate, Isabel makes coffee for both of them. You're good with her, Isabel says quietly. I'm learning. Making mistakes. We all make mistakes, she pauses. Your mother called me. Cameron's entire body tenses. When? Yesterday. She asked if she could see Lily. Supervised. Just for an hour. What did you say? I said I'd think about it. Isabel meets his eyes. Cameron, I know what she did was unforgivable, but she's Lily's grandmother. And Lily deserves to know her family. Even the parts of my family that destroyed us. Especially those parts. Because we're showing Lily that people can make terrible mistakes and still earn their way back. Isabel's voice is soft. Isn't that what you're doing? Earning your way back? Cameron stares at her. Is that what this is? Me earning my way back to you? I don't know what this is, Isabel says honestly. 6 months ago, I thought I'd never see you again. Now you're in my kitchen every morning, reading bedtime stories to our daughter, rebuilding a life you walked away from. I didn't walk away. I was pushed, and I let myself believe lies. We both let ourselves believe lies. Isabel sets down her coffee. The question is, what do we believe now? Cameron reaches across the table, then pulls his hand back. I believed that what we had was real. I believed that losing you was the worst thing that ever happened to me. And I believed that if you gave me another chance, I'd spend the rest of my life proving I'm worth it. And if I can't give you that chance, if the most I can offer is co-parenting and friendship, then I'll take it. Cameron's voice is steady. Because having you in my life as Lily's mother, as my friend, is better than not having you at all. I'm not going anywhere, Isabel. Whether we end up together or not, I'm in this for life. Isabel's eyes are bright with unshed tears. I want to believe you. Then let me prove it. However long it takes. A month, a year, 6 years. I'm not going anywhere. They sit in silence, the weight of unfinished business hanging between them. I see a therapist now, Isabel says suddenly. Started after you found out about Lily. She says I build walls before people can leave me. Are you building walls with me? I'm trying not to. Isabel's voice is small. But it's hard, Cameron. The last time I let someone in, I ended up pregnant and alone. I wasn't there because I didn't know, not because I didn't want to be. I know that intellectually. But emotionally, she stops. Emotionally, I'm still that terrified woman who was told you'd moved on. What does the current version want? Isabel looks at him, at the exhaustion in his eyes, the determination in his jaw, the way he's shown up every single day for 6 months without asking for anything. She wants to believe this is real, Isabel whispers. She wants to believe we could build something from all this damage. Then let's start small. Keep doing what we're doing. Focus on Lily. Build trust as co-parents. And maybe, along the way, we figure out if we can be more. What if we can't? What if we try and fail? Then we fail, but at least we'll know we tried, and Lily will still have 2 parents who love her. Cameron pauses. Isabel, I'm not afraid of failing with you. I'm afraid of not trying and spending the rest of my life wondering what if. Isabel's phone buzzes. A text from Adrienne with a photo of Lily covered in finger paint, grinning wildly. They both smile. She's so happy you're here, Isabel says. I'm happy I'm here too. At the door, Cameron turns back. Isabel? Yeah? Thank you for letting me be her father, for giving me this chance. You're welcome. Just don't make me regret it. I won't. I promise. He leaves, and Isabel stands in her doorway watching him walk away. 6 years ago, she watched him choose obligation over love. Now she's watching him choose their daughter over everything else. Maybe that's enough for now. Maybe trust is built in small moments, and kept promises, and consistent presence, and pancake breakfasts on Saturday mornings. Maybe love isn't about grand gestures or perfect timing. Maybe it's about showing up every day, even when it's hard. Isabel closes the door and looks around her apartment. Lily's toys scattered across the floor, crayon drawings taped to walls, the beautiful chaos of motherhood. Soon that chaos will include Cameron more permanently. Weekly dinners, shared holidays, co-parenting meetings, birthday parties where they'll navigate being together but not together. It won't be easy. But looking at the calendar on her fridge, where Lily has circled Daddy Day in red marker with approximately 50 exclamation points, Isabel thinks maybe it will be worth it. Her phone buzzes. Cameron, forgot to mention my mother's therapist says she's ready to try a supervised visit. Your call entirely, no pressure. Isabel types back. Let's start with 1 hour. At a neutral location. I'll be there the whole time. Fair. Thank you. Don't thank me. Just keep being the father Lily deserves. I will. Promise. Isabel sets down her phone and stares out the window at Boston's skyline. Somewhere in the city, 6 blocks away, Cameron is unpacking his life around a daughter he just met. Somewhere in a park across town, Lily is probably still talking about her daddy and their elephant adventures. And somewhere in Seattle, Patricia Drake is sitting in her therapist's office, finally facing the damage her grief caused. Everything is uncertain, messy, complicated. But for the first time in 6 years, Isabel feels something she thought was lost forever. Hope. Not the naive hope of their early relationship when everything felt easy and destined. but the hard-won hope of two people who lost each other, found each other again, and are choosing, slowly, carefully, to build something new from the ruins. It isn't a fairy tale ending. It's something better. It's real. And as Isabel watches the sun rise over Boston, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink, she thinks about second chances, about how pride can destroy what we cherish most, about how silence is often more devastating than conflict, about how the strongest foundations are built not from perfection, but from the willingness to show up, again and again, even after everything has fallen apart. She thinks about Lily, who will grow up knowing both her parents, who will see that love isn't about never making mistakes, but about having the courage to repair what's broken. She thinks about Cameron, unpacking boxes in an apartment 6 blocks away, rebuilding his entire life around a daughter he didn't know existed 6 months ago. And she thinks about herself, standing in her kitchen, terrified and hopeful, learning to trust again. Maybe that's what love is. Not the lightning bolt in a conference room or the first kiss on a bridge overlooking the water, but the quiet choice to keep trying, to show up, to believe that broken things can be made whole if you're willing to do the work. Isabel's phone buzzes one more time. Cameron, see you at 9. I'll bring the maple syrup. She smiles, types back a single word. Home. Because maybe that's what they're building. Not the life they had before, but something new. Something forged from loss and time, and the fierce, unshakable love they both have for the little girl who looks like them both. Something real. Something worth fighting for. Something that feels, finally, like coming home.